My friend and colleague from the Fox News Channel is with us, Tucker Carlson. He's got a brand new book out, by the way. It's called Ship of Fools, How a Selfish Ruling Class is Bringing America to the Brink of Revolution. Are we really getting to the brink of a revolution in this sense? I mean, look, it's only happened 3 times in the last 100 years where a party wins the White House, power in the White House, and they don't have losses in the next midterm election year. The last time was right after 9/11, 2001, George Bush was president. But I've got to imagine people are pretty pissed off at it was 2 weeks ago yesterday, and nobody had heard one bad thing about Brett Kavanaugh until 2 weeks ago yesterday. And look where we are today. Tucker, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean. Well, yeah, I mean, look, Kavanaugh is being destroyed not because of anything he did or didn't do, but because he's in the way of the Democrats retaining power. I mean, it's not personal. It's just the party wants what he's about to get, and so they're crushing him and his family in order to get it. Are we moving to a revolution? Well, I don't know. Look at the people in charge. Look at the Congress. Look at our media. They're pushing conflict and division on us. They're pushing racial division endlessly. They're pushing gender division. They're claiming that the Kavanaugh saga is a reason that women should hate men and vice versa. Yeah. I mean, they're pushing disunity because a disunified country is easier for them to control. That's divide and conquer. It's the oldest strategy there is.
Well, look, I've chronicled this historically over the course of my career, and that is, it's pretty predictable. Every 2 and 4 years, every election cycle, Republicans are racist, sexist. I won't give the whole list, but
exactly.
They want to throw Granny over the cliff. And now with Supreme Court justices, if they have an opening, there seems to be there's nothing they won't say or do now. I mean, you have friends of the attorney for Professor Katz, Dianne Feinstein recommended, who herself is pretty radical left, now soliciting people from the Georgetown prep community, whatever that is, and asking if they have information or they want to come forward. They're soliciting people. And the FBI now is being told by Democrats, well, it's got to be wide in scope, and it's got to go on for as long as need be, which is the opposite of the so-called agreement between Senator Coons and Senator Snowflake last week.
Exactly. I mean, Republicans, bless their hearts, are so literal that they fall for this stuff every single time, and they feel that they have to debate the details of this or that case when actually there's nothing to do with the details or with justice itself. This is a tactic designed to hold on to power. When Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum got the nominations for governor in Florida, my very first thought was DeSantis is going to be a racist. You watch this. He has to be. They're going to paint him as one. Within 24 hours, they flip around, he used some harmless phrase. Next thing you know, the lead of every show, Ron DeSantis is a racist. You knew that was going to happen because it had to happen.
Hey, Tucker, there were in 1998 a radio ad in Missouri by the Democratic Party said, if you elect Republicans, black crosses are going to be burnt on people's, lawns.
I remember it well.
The James Byrd ad, I mean, Al Gore telling a predominantly black audience, Republicans have the wrong agenda for African Americans. They don't even want to count you in the census at all. And just really outrageous claims. And, one of the things I'd like to see come out of this, that what has now become a predictable tactic, that they get called out on this. Brett Kavanaugh, up until 2 weeks ago yesterday, was a gentleman's gentleman. And now all of these allegations, all of these solicitations, and it doesn't matter, like if Michael Avenatti is making the claim that 36 years ago that there was a gang of boys that were routinely drugging girls and then waiting in line to gang and trail rape them. And that this was happening with a regular occurrence, but nobody said it at the time. Nobody told the teacher, a law enforcement official, a parent, that it just kept going on and was covered up for this long. Because I know where I went to school, if one kid got in trouble for anything, everybody knew within seconds.
Well, it's ridiculous. I mean, his client is alleging that she went to 9 consecutive public gang rapes in a row and never said anything to anybody, and no one else did either. And she, on the 10th one, was raped herself and didn't say a single word about it for 37 years. Okay, I don't have time for that, actually. There's a whole country with all sorts of real problems to address and tend to. You really have to be a Republican senator to think you had to take that seriously. These people fall for the same gag every single time. It's Lucy in the football. And you have, like, the senator from Arizona is like, no, really, we need to give this a hearing. Really? If there are plausible claims being made, yes, they should be investigated. This is a guy who's had 6 FBI investigations into his background in the space of 20 years, who had a clearance that allowed him the codes to the nuclear arsenal. He was that vetted, and yet we need another on the basis of claims that have no substantiation at all. I mean, I'm not attacking Christine Ford. I'm just making the obvious point. She claims that this happened. She named 4 people she says were present. All 4 say it didn't happen. And no one has the brass to ask follow-up questions. And I mean, look, it's a joke, is what's actually happening. It's a joke. And only the Republicans in the Senate don't know it's a joke.
Well, this is the point. Either some said they had no recollection ever of anything like that ever happening or being at any party. In the case of her best friend, she said, well, I don't doubt what Professor Ford is saying, but I don't have any recollection. But also Professor Ford identified one person, and that was Mark Judge. And Mark Judge having been in the room when this alleged assault took place. And he has said over and over again, that's not true. Now, they made statements under penalty of felony, and so when the FBI goes back to them, if they change their story, they would be admitting to committing a felony. So I'm not really expecting a whole lot to change here, except now the Democrats have put out a statement earlier today, and they are now demanding all the witnesses telling the FBI how to do their job. And meanwhile, when they had a chance last week to talk about Mr. Ramirez or Michael Avenatti's client, they passed and they punted and they didn't bring it up. But now they want to extend it into that aspect. But
why are we playing along with this? I mean, they actually Democrats.
I can tell you why, because Jeff Flake and Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, they wanted this extra work done. It was supposed to be limited in scope and just a limited amount of time. It didn't turn out that way.
Jeff Flake is not in control of the Senate. They could pass it without Flake. And where the leaders, other than, and I hate to say it, Lindsey Graham seems to be the only person willing to tell the truth, but where are the rest? Where are the other 19 Republican senators out there on television making a case, not just for Brett Kavanaugh, but for common sense and presumption of innocence? Like, where are these people? And they control the United States Senate. They haven't passed any of the agenda, pretty much, that the president ran on. They're giving the finger to their own voters. And on this one thing, they can't just tell the truth? Why is that so hard? What are they afraid of exactly? I don't understand.
What do you think? Now, you've been in cable news a long time. You were back in the Crossfire days. I think you even had a stint shortly at MSNBC. I don't know how that worked out for you, but...
yeah, I got fired.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they are a one-opinion network, and that's it. And it's all conspiracy, all hate Trump all the time. But now you've been doing really well on the Fox News channel, and your show's doing really well. And... what is the difference that you think has happened with cable news today? I mean, we're on the opinion side of things, and Fox obviously has a news division, but I kind of look at what I do as a talk show host as being the entire newspaper. We report news. Sometimes it's straight news. We even do investigative reporting. Other days we give strong opinions. Other interviews we have people give opinion. We do sports. We do culture, pop culture. To me, it's the whole newspaper. All these other people claim to be reporters, and they're anything but.
We break a lot of news on our show, and we have reporters working on the show. Their only job is to find new things, to flesh them out, do interviews. I mean, I have been in this my whole life. It's what my family did. I don't feel insecure about, why you're not a journalist, whatever. I don't care what you call me. But we bring new facts to light every night, and I see our job more than anything is trying to explain what this means. It's a really confusing time. I wrote a whole book about it. That's what the book is. How did we get here? Why did this happen? Why did Trump get elected? What Putin didn't get him elected. Grow up. What actually happened? And what actually happened was the people in charge made a series of incredibly dumb decisions about our culture, our economy, our foreign policy. They never said sorry, and they never learned anything. And so voters got mad and punished them, and good for them. Why wouldn't they? So that's what I think my job is to explain what this means. And I think, maybe you disagree, but I think that's a valuable thing to do right now.
No, I think, and the other thing is I'm a believer in strong opinion, but at least we're honest about it.
Yeah, totally.
Like, for example, there'll be days on this radio show when all we're doing is reporting news. Same on TV. There'll be other days we're doing investigative reporting. There are days I'm just giving opinions and taking calls from people that have opinions. And that's what it's all under the umbrella of being a talk show host. You know, people say, well, Hannity, you even said you're not a journalist. No, but I do journalism. It's part of what I do, but we don't just do that. Anyway, Tucker...
Do you think it's a little bit weird that all the attention that we get, there's like 9 people in the media who disagree with the prevailing storyline, and they need to be crushed and silenced? Why is that?
No,
you know what I mean?
There are less than 9, Tucker. There's
yeah, I know.
There's a handful.
Right.
There's a handful of us, Tucker. There's not that many. And by the way, there's an orchestrated effort and millions of dollars being spent to shut down anybody that dares to not hold that prevailing left-wing view. But anyway, we're putting it up on Hannity, on the website, Hannity.com. The Ship of Fools, How a Selfish Ruling Class is Bringing America to the Brink of Revolution. Tucker Carlson is with us. His show every night, weeknights, 8 p.m., preceding Hannity on the Fox News Channel. And you're going to be a guest on one of our panels tonight. We look forward to having you.
I can't wait. Thank you, Sean.
All right, Tucker, thank you.